Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Another amazing Tuesday, and everyone is looking forward to a great day. Yes. Hope you've been keeping safe, wearing your mask, and washing your hands frequently, and also using your hand sanitizers as well. Um, Lexus, good morning. Sabina, good morning. Sabina, good morning. And to all of you guys, HA, good morning. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good night. Real Pencil, oh baby, how are you, my darling? It's been a while. How are you? Happy New Year, and keep up the great job. Good morning, darling. Good morning. I am well, thank God. I'm good. I'm good, thank you. So yesterday we weren't on today. Big Bang, good morning. Thanks for joining. Um, it's been a long time. Yes, real pencil. It's been a long time. I know. But I thank God you're good and keeping safe. I know your job or your passion requires you to go out there and draw people, put the pencil into some amazing, unique ways. Use. And you do that with so much, flair and joy. And so I don't know if you're able to go out there, but if not, I'm sure you would always have something put together, drawn or drawn and sketched nicely. So great job. Guys, check him out. Check his page out. You love him. Um, Guys, it's a great day, isn't it? And I am blessed to be here this morning. Yesterday I wasn't on. I had so much going on. I had so much to do. I had an early start, and so I couldn't get online. And so I'm back. As much as I'm hoping to have a discussion that's really means a lot to me, because you can tell that I'm panting a bit. It's because of the topic we're going to be discussing this morning. It's very sensitive, but very important, relevant. We must discuss it and have a great thought to it at all times, especially parents. Parents must always think of their children's mental health. It's very important. Mental health, children's mental health, it's very important. So let me start off with this reality that hits us, my son and I, yesterday. A very good friend of my son, very good friend. He's quite older than him, has a great influence on him. I like him. Parents are careful who their children associate with, right? Okay, good. I like him. Very positive guy, encouraging. He encourages him to, he's a senior. He encourages him to read his book, study, and also encourages, he's part of his group when they're playing their games. Guys, kids and their games, right? It's their leisure time. They want to play the all sorts of games, right? As much as you monitor them, it's another thing altogether, right? But yeah, this is a very good friend to my son. He's a very good friend of my son. And I got home yesterday from my runarounds and everything, and my son broke news to me that this amazing friend of his has lost his mother and sister in an car accident. I could tell immediately my son has been disturbed, worried about his friend, and you could tell he was just walking up and down my room. And I don't know, I felt that this boy, is very disturbed. I could tell it. I could tell that. So, it was quite late but I tried to send a message to our dear friend Nanaya. You know, we had a conversation with a professional, amazing woman that had an encounter with my son. And because she deals with children, I mean, she works with children, I sent her a message hoping I can get her this morning to have a conversation with her. Guys, I'm hoping she comes on this morning for us to do this. If this happens, okay, or if that happens, it will be great because I really want Nanaya to explain certain things to us and help us find ways and means that we can encourage our children and help them with their mental health. Because in times like this, honestly, I know I can say, pray for him. So funny enough, what we did yesterday, I was so worried. I went to the kitchen I was late, I was hungry to find something to eat. I called him, he came to the kitchen with me. I could tell that this boy was just worried about his friend. And then at a point I said, can you send him, have you checked up on him? He said, Mommy, I just did 30 minutes ago. And it was quite late. So this is me thinking, this boy has been thinking about this guy. He's been worried. I mean, and you see, it's a good thing to have. I mean, I'm blessed with a child like Dylan. Honestly, I am so blessed. This guy has an amazing heart and so has your children or is your children with amazing and kind hearts. I'm really, I mean, so what we did before I went to bed was held hands and prayed for him together. I said, come to my room, come, let's pray for him. And so he came to my room and we said a prayer for him. And look, when, you know, this boy kept grabbing my hands when I made specific requests in my prayers, you know, squeeze it. You know, when you're praying and you really are inclined with what the prayer request is, you know, if you're praying with somebody and you grab their hands, there's a way that there's a certain reactions and movement of the hands, the body, and this boy was just touched. When we finished, he just put his hands on my back, around my neck and said, "You've got to sleep." And I said, "You have to sleep. You need to get some rest." So I told him, okay, so if you talk to him again this morning, let him know that I would like to come and say hi to him. If that's not allowed, I mean, we're here. He can always come around if he wants to chill with you. I mean, maybe that can also help him, you know, feel better a bit. So guys, that's it. So I sent a message to Nanaya, hoping that she'll come online so we have this conversation. Our children and their mental health, it's so important. So guys, you can imagine a 17-year-old boy, gentleman, okay, who's lost his mother and sister in a car accident, and is friends with not just my son, but, you know, has friends around who will be reaching out to him. I mean, first of all, we have to think of what you can imagine what this guy is going through. A son of a woman who's just gone with his sister. He's got his sister's picture as his profile picture on their what's it called, Telegram. You know, the section where they put the part where they put the image, the photo. He's gotten his sister's image there. Guys, this is serious. A lot of people are dying of other things. I mean, corona and the rest, and other illness and sicknesses. This time around, I mean, for this boy, unfortunately, sadly, it's a car accident. You know, and so I'm hoping to have Nanaya join us this morning so we can talk about our children and their mental health. So guys, I mean, if you have any input on what I've just shared with you, please let me know if you want to come on board. Hi, my brother Vandant V Media. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Hey brother, it's good to have you here. I mean, I don't know if you followed the story I just shared, and it's something that just happened 2 days ago, yesterday. And so guys, hi Dizzy, good morning. Yvonne, how are you? How are my children doing? Hope they're doing good. I hope you're good. I'm a boy in blow. I'm a blow. One more about blow. It's good to have you here, Yvonne. My regards to your husband. Kobla Junior. Papa, sweetie pie. Good morning now. Fonama. It's been a while. The last time I saw you, figure gas station, blah, 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 looking all fine. It's good to have you here, Kobla. So that's a sad story we've gotten this morning to discuss about our children and their mental health. This is another. Patrick, thank you so much. Who else? Guys, Joel, thank you. Joey, thank you so much for joining us. Derek, good morning. How are you doing, sweetheart? It's good to have you here. Hope you're keeping safe. It's very important, please. Prof. Brown, how are you? Prof. Brown, how are you? Oasis, how are you? Sabina, I said good morning to you. Good morning back, my darling. So guys, this is it. I'm hoping to get Nanaya online, on live this morning, so we have this conversation. What's your take? What do you have to say? Yvonne, maybe I can grab you quickly. Okay, we are doing well. School, what? School will start in March. Yes. Yvonne, can I get it on? I mean, I don't know if you heard the whole story, but Dylan's very good friend lost his mother and sister in a car accident yesterday, and Dylan was so worried. Like, I mean, the boy is worried to the extent that I need to talk to a professional to know how to deal with him, how handle him at this point. I need that. Because sometimes parents might think that, oh, they will say one or two, or just say, Dylan, God is in control. Yes, definitely, absolutely. Say a prayer for him, a fantastic one. But what can we really do? What do we need to ask them? How can we? I don't know. I need to, because look, I'm not the only one who needs it. We all do. Parent on this platform who's joined this morning needs to know what to do in times like that, or in times, like this. And so I would gladly want a professional to help us on this matter. Nanaya is still not online now. So guys, I don't know, what's your take on this? Do you have anything to say on what's happening? I did, I sympathized. I mean, I'm worried. I feel bad for this guy. He's a good guy, nice guy, young gentleman with a bright future. Life. Woke up this morning, and that was one of the things that came to mind, and I just had to say a prayer for him. And good, look, guys, prayer definitely works. I know, and I'm trusting. I believe that God is, giving him the strength that he needs right now. It's very important that we do that. So I don't know. So Yvonne, what's your take on that? So many times, like I said, parents would say something. I think they would think that would be the best. It's the best thing for them to do. But honestly, we don't know. I want a professional to take us through this. Nanaya is still not here. It's 6:47, and I'm hoping to stay here till 7 a.m. So hopefully, who can I get on to see? Guys, we've got something special planned for you. When I say we, I mean myself, and I'm bringing my amazing sweetheart producer, Kojo on board. The first week passed and it was great. I want something nice. So Kojo has been my producer for a very long time, an extraordinary one. Very passionate about content, television content. Great content. And I just love that about him. And so I spoke to him over the weekend and said, hey, it's about time. Let's do something special. So I don't know whether he's going to. So Kojo is the type who would say, okay, Miss Jifa, regardless what you do, you have to get ready and make it look good. Make it look great. Look good. So I don't know whether early this morning, as I like to scarf my hair. I like to just be me, and I know he's going to add another side of me to this. I know. He's good at that. He always does that. And so, yeah, maybe he will say, okay, fine, I will not spare you. I want you to look good this morning. I want you to do this, that. And then, it's all part of it, to put that message across to everybody so we can all have, learn from each other, right? And see how we can encourage and build a better lives for ourselves and our communities. Is very important. So yes, I know I'm trying to I'm smiling and all that, but this topic is very dear to me, and I really want to have it with Nanaya and you. So guys, please, if you have any contribution, please do that. Let's see. Let me see if I can get on. Okay, so Kamla, are you still in bed? Fola Baji, 444. So Derek, where are you? Okay, so let me see who I'm gonna get on. So whilst we wait for Nanaya to join us, let's see if we can get Lexus who. Okay, guys. So honestly, this is what I came here to discuss today. Yes, you always have to prepare for something extraordinary, but I mean, I'm trying. I mean, I just thought that I would have this discussion with Nanaya this morning. Okay, so guess who is online? My brother, the sought after, one of Africa's world favorites, photographer, videographer, and everything concerning or related to image, content, and just bringing it to life. I mean, this guy is just amazing. A brother, a friend, and a good friend to my son, a good brother, big brother to my son, and a colleague as well. So, Coded, good morning, my boo-boo. How are you? It's been a while. So I'll go over the story I shared earlier on concerning the sad news that my son broke to me yesterday. So Coded and everybody else, Dylan's a very good friend who is older, quite older than Dylan is 12, his friend is 17, right? A very nice guy who encourages him, to do well in school with his academics and they play games together. You play games with Dylan as well. He lost his mom and sister in a car accident. And Dylan, you know him. The boy is just worried, extremely worried. I got home last night, he broke the news to me, and you could tell that he's very devastated. And we said a prayer. I asked him to check up on the guy. He said I did that 30 minutes ago. I mean, apparently he's been doing that throughout the day, checking out if he's okay. And then he said, one thing he said I forgot to mention here, that, Mom, I don't know how he's coping. I'm just imagining how this guy is dealing with it. He's handling it. I mean, Dylan, I don't know. Yes, he said it was something like that. And so that's it. So how do we deal with our children's mental health in times like this? That's what, and I definitely want a professional's take on this. And so I sent a message to Nanaya. I followed up this morning, but hoping she would come online because it was quite late notice. And she was the only one that I could reach out to at that point, at that time. And so guys, how do we do that? You can share your opinions with me. I did what I could do, and I'm going to keep doing. And I think I'll do a bit of research. I mean, if Nanaya comes on board, even if she doesn't, I think I'll still talk to her later and find out what to do. I'll share that with you later on. I'll do some research online and see what I can do, because I mean, we need to deal with it. It's a sensitive situation, and we need to deal with it wisely and the right way. And that is if there is a particular right way to do, because when people are in such, mood and dilemma or situations, it's quite difficult to know what exactly to do to please them. You would have to try probably 1 or 2 or 3 to see if that's going to help them. So, I mean, if I know exactly what to do, as I'm not a professional, so I can't, but I can read online, check online on things to do, and see if I can, if I'll be able to achieve my goal to make sure that Dylan and his friend feel okay. I mean, and find a way to deal with this better. Okay, so that's it. How was your week start? How did your week start? What did you do? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Guys, it's an amazing life. We all have ways of enduring it. Like a news like this, I'm sure you're all saying all sorts. Oh, this is sad. No, I mean, you're reacting to this news, yes. And then what happens? Sometimes when we feel this way, we have to always remember that when our loved ones or people around us gets into situations like this, we have to find ways to really help them. We shouldn't take it for granted. They need it. They truly need it. I have experienced the loss of a loved one in my life, someone that I truly love and needed in my life as long as I will live, even though yes, she's gonna grow older. I mean old and at a point, well, whatever will happen, you can't cheat nature. I wasn't expecting it that quick, my mother, okay? And the whole circumstance, the picture, how it happened and everything. I mean, it's something I've dealt with and I'm dealing with to really understand that this is really part of life and situations should not, we'll definitely bring it back like this. A truth or story like this will definitely bring back such memories, but I've been able to deal with it in a way where I don't stress too much and I don't get devastated and I just leave, okay? Leave with a purpose and focus. It's very important because such moments can really distract you, change your mood and destroy a lot of things around you. I'm being honest with you. If you do or always get into the thought of, the loved ones you've lost and what could have happened, you know the things that will go through your mind. It's another thing altogether. If you're not strong and if you don't handle it wisely, you would end up, destroying a lot of opportunities or losing a lot of opportunities that you as an individual deserve, to acquire or achieve and enjoy. And that's life in general, enjoying life, living life. And these are the things of having issues in relationships, because you don't have the right frame of mind to really be around somebody and just let them feel comfortable, make them feel comfortable and welcoming, because these things can really change your mood. And depending on the times that it registers, if you're not careful, it will be it's not a pleasant feeling at all, and nobody around you would want to see. They can understand that from time to time, you feel that way and deal with it, but constantly, that's not a thing that anybody or everybody would like to deal with daily. At all. Nobody would want to deal with that. So it takes a lot. And I don't know. I've been thinking about it. And possibly this Dylan's friend, he needs a professional. He needs a therapist to start talking to him now. And I'm ready. I'm not saying they can't afford it or they can't, but I'm ready to provide such help for him as a friend, a mother to his very good friend, and then a woman and a mother, and a human being who's gotten to know what he's going through this morning. I'm not too sure if Nanaya, but I'm hoping. I really want her on this morning. So what would you do? Guys, I'm gonna post this. Okay, so let's interact. Okay, this is what has happened. What do you think will help? Yes, a professional needed to talk to this boy, and also definitely Dylan. I need a professional to. Nanaya is definitely going to have a conversation with him today, God willing, and to ask and find out how he's doing and what's really going through his mind. I need that done for him, and also for his friend. That is if that is allowed. Okay, that is if it's allowed. Okay, and so yes, guys, this is it this morning. So I'm going to keep saying a prayer and get Dylan to check up on him and trust God that it will ease off as time goes on, because this is very difficult. Okay, it is difficult. So remember you have this in your head already. I've already said and it's stuck, right? So, whenever it comes to mind during the day, a lot of people, passionate people, always have such things stuck in there. They hardly forget it. If it comes to mind, you can say a prayer, and yes, that's the most you can do, right? Yeah. Have a great day, and hold your own, hold your truth, guys. Hold it tight, and find a way to work on it. You know, nurture it to the point where everybody in the world can benefit. Everybody in the world can benefit. Hold it, okay? Nurture it, and give it out there to everybody, so they can all benefit positively. It's very important. It could be saying good morning. It could be, oh, share this with me. Come, let's have lunch. And don't forget to wear your mask. Guys, wash your hands frequently and sanitize your hands frequently as well. So it could be the little things, guys, the little things. And if possible, you can do the big things. Why not? Why not? If you can give me 20 billion this morning, give me. I don't know, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, if you believe that, or if you know an opportunity that's out there, that you know that, oh, Jifa, Kweku, Lexus, HA, Sabina, you know, Nana, whoever, everybody, someone close to you needs, deserves, would bring a good smile, an amazing smile and joy to them. Do it, guys, do it. And when you do it, honestly, don't expect much in return. Don't expect too much in return. Don't. It will come. The blessings will come from other places. You would have it once you've given and you did that wholeheartedly. Just let it be. Your time will come. You would reap that blessings back in abundance, and if not you, your children's children. And in fact, you can experience that blessings back, and your children's children will also have that back, because at the time where you provided that help, when you decided to give out or help or be of a good, great vibe to somebody, only God knows what was going on, you know, and He sees everything, He knows everything, He knows our heart. And so, guys, don't expect too much when you do good things, when you're kind to people. Just believe that you wanted to be kind, and it feels good, and the right time you would reap it back, right, guys? It's important. And so have a good day, and I love you all. God loves you more. And inbox me if you have any take on what we shared. A lot of people, most times people don't really want to, I don't know, but let me not insinuate, right? So, oh, Nanaya is here, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Nana. Nana, you're up. Smiling. Madam. You look beautiful this morning.
I don't feel beautiful inside.
Oh, Nana, you must feel beautiful.
I'm tired.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I woke you up this morning. I'm so sorry. Nana.
Oh no, it's fine. I gotta be up anyway.
Nana, this is serious. Look, a 17-year-old boy, okay? Or gentleman. He's a big boy now.
Adolescent. Yeah.
Adult, yes, adult. And he lost his mother and sister in a car accident. And this boy is a very good friend to my son. And Dylan is dead worried, extremely worried. Our children and their mental health, how can we deal with it? I don't know. In a situation like this, how can I deal with Dylan? What do I have to do? So what we did was we said a prayer yesterday. I asked if he's checked up on him. He said, Mommy, I just did. The last time I did that was 30 minutes ago. So it means that he's frequently checking up on him. What do? I don't know. That's why I wanted your professional output or take on this. It's very important. What do we do?
Firstly, it's just so tragic that at any age to lose a parent and a sibling. And as we're talking about children and young people, so the adolescent, and you've got Dylan as well here, there's two people in this equation which they're both going to go through different experiences. And I think the first thing you can do as a parent, or anyone supporting a young person who's experiencing grief, is normalize the feeling that they're going through, is normalization, because especially with younger ones and even with adolescents, this 17-year-old boy is even though, yeah, sometimes society, they think, oh, he's 17, he'll manage or he'll understand his feelings. Adolescence, as we all know, is quite a crucial stage in one's life where there's a lot of change. He's actually learning to come into his own self-identification. So there's a lot going on for him at this adolescent stage. And then to experience a loss of a mother, his person that, leads the way for him, his main caregiver, his everything, most people's mothers are. Then he loses his sibling. That people underestimate the sibling bond. When there's a loss of a child sometimes and they've got siblings, people always think about the mother and the father, and they underestimate the impact that loss will have on a child. I have a book by this lady called Dorothy Rowe called My Wonderful Enemy, or my Beautiful Enemy, My Wonderful Friend. The bond, it just describes the loss of a sibling and that special bond and the impact it can have on one. So he's lost two key people in his life, that's part of his foundation. And then he'll definitely need that space. Sometimes professional help, I always recommend professional help because it's a neutral space where the child can explore and just have a space, even sometimes, to be silent, because sometimes as parents, we can nag our children, come on, tell me, talk to me. Sometimes they don't want to talk. It's about being present and just being alert to any signs or changes, and when he's ready to talk. But it doesn't mean just leave them silent, but just not being supportive, but not in a way that it's becomes too much and intense for them. So if there's professional support available, great. But even with grief, it's not always advisable to go straight into therapy or counseling with grief, because as people know, there's different stages to grief. There's denial, there's anger, there's depression, and then acceptance. So sometimes it's not always advisable when something just happened to go straight into counseling or therapy. And if this 17-year-old is fortunate to have a loving family around him, all he needs right now is normalization, that love, that attention, because sometimes we as adults can tend to it's not intentional, but we're dealing with our own issues. His father will be going through his own process of grief, but just remembering that you've got this child or this adolescent there as well. So just a loving family around him at the moment and understanding. And comments like, oh, it is one of those things is a big no-no. When I hear people say that thing, it's not one of those things. His world has been crushed. And so validation of his feelings, so validation of how he's feeling. And then coming to Dylan, because I'm sure aware of time, coming to Dylan.
Take your time, please.
Yeah, there's like for you as a parent and people remembering that there's such thing as secondary trauma. So his friend has experienced a serious trauma. And even some of the things you're saying, that Dylan is constantly checking, and obviously you can see he's worried. He can experience secondary trauma from the trauma that his friend has experienced. And one of the things to look out for, especially in terms of secondary trauma, and it's because Dylan, he's 12, isn't it? Dylan's 12, and he's got you go out, do your thing, you're driving, and his friend lost his mother and sister in an accident. He can start experiencing anxiety and fear that I could lose my mom, this could be me. And some of the signs of secondary trauma is anxiety, anger, low mood, sometimes change in appetite, and it can present as physical feelings. So sometimes, especially in younger people, and even as an adult, I mean, Yes, my dad was unwell, and I mean, I told you my mum was unwell before, and I'm someone who's quite physical. I will experience my emotional, mental health feelings physically in my stomach. Um, and I'll get flushes. So younger people, especially younger children, sometimes they'll experience, oh, I've got a tummy ache, I've got a headache, and sometimes we'll just see it as, oh, maybe there's something wrong with them, or that's what we call psychosomatic symptoms, where you're feeling it in your body. There's an amazing book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it talks about trauma and how it presents in the body. So it's about you keeping an eye on Dylan. And also, yes, he's going to want to constantly check on his friend and be there for his friend. And I think you should allow him that space, but also there's a balance, because you don't want it to become excessive, that to the point where it does impact on him, because it's about self-care and balance for him. And as much as possible, whilst he's experiencing this secondary trauma or this anxiety and hurt for his friend, is about you trying to keep things as normal as possible for him. Um, so, I mean, just keep an eye out for the, and sometimes addictive behaviors can present even more. So, if a child who maybe, I know lots of parents struggle with getting their kids off PlayStations and things like that. Times like this, he might go into his own and be playing excessively and constantly. That might be a sign. So it's little things that you think maybe nothing, but just keep an eye out for them. And these things sometimes doesn't present straight away. It can come weeks, months, because this is something that's happened. And Dylan, even though it's not directly happened to him, he might just remember he's going to be talking to his friend, and that anxiety and fear of loss is introduced. And we need to remember, even as adults, if anyone has ever lost somebody, or if any of you have ever experienced someone being critically ill, imagine the feelings you've gone through and you struggle to manage, let alone a child who is going through the stages of development and actually hasn't got to the point where they understand all their feelings. It's like anger. Let's take something as simple as anger. Lots of even adults, we don't understand anger properly. Anger is a normal feeling. And if you don't know how to manage it or process it, then it becomes a problem. Anger is not a bad thing. Anger can be seen as a positive, but it's how you process it. So can you imagine a child who is only now developing and just doesn't understand how they are feeling, and naming one thing about people from our society and our cultural backgrounds, I think there's a massive gap around emotional literacy. So we don't talk feelings. And feelings are always oppressed and dampened down. Even if you're crying, oh, don't cry, oh, boys don't cry, or as I said earlier on, oh, it's one of those things. And our feelings in our society sometimes can be very invalidating and validated by others,
Yeah.
where I'm feeling sad. Oh, don't feel sad. Of course, I'm feeling sad. Yes, you are feeling sad, and it's normal to feel sad, and it's painful, and it's going to hurt. I went to get my COVID vaccine the other day, and the woman said, this is going to hurt you. You're going to have pain. So letting you know it's normal. You are going to hurt. You're going to feel pain. If you've lost someone, it's real. It's huge. If your friend has lost someone, it's huge. And so it's not to be taken lightly. I mean, this is a tragic accident, but even with this COVID, the amount of children that are feeling serious anxiety, because there's just death all around, and sickness and illness and uncertainty, and we tend to get on with our lives, and we've got our own anxieties. People in the UK here, London, being furloughed, losing jobs, marriages breaking, the rise in domestic violence, and amongst all this chaos and this darkness, you've got the children, and they're watching that the world that and the parents and the world that's meant to be their foundations seems like it's crumbling. So it's not to be underestimated, um the mental health and emotional well-being issues that's going on for young people. And as I said, yes, a loving, caring family is great, but sometimes, as much as that is great, sometimes children and young people, just like all of us, do benefit from a neutral space where they can just take themselves out, and that is a confidential space where they can be open, express their feelings, or learn about feelings. Because sometimes, as parents, we're not the best to, especially when we're going through things ourselves, to be processing and working through certain feelings with our children. I mean, family therapy is great where you can process together, but it's quite, I find as Black Africans, we're not really keen on family therapy. Sometimes we find it blaming, or like, oh, someone's going to question my parenting or something, or question how my home is. But actually, it's not there to be judgmental. It's about working through different
Together.
processes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I not just because I'm a professional, before I became a child adolescent mental health specialist, I always would recommend, it's something that even for myself, um, I went through therapy, and the reason I actually went through therapy is because of the training. When I was training as a psychotherapist, you have to be in therapy. And I remember the therapist said something to me. Are you coming here because it's part of your course requirement, or are you bringing yourself as a person who actually wants to use this space? And I was thinking that I was desperate because I had a week left to find a therapist. And I'm like, this woman, don't disturb my life. Yeah, I need therapy. And then she said, no. And she really questioned me. And I said, okay, yes, I'm coming because it's a course requirement. And she said, well, I can't see you then. You need to want to be here. And then I went away and reflected, and I thought, actually, with all the stuff that's gone on in my life and things that have been unprocessed, maybe I'll benefit from this space. And actually, she's the right person. So I called her back. And it's the best thing I ever did. I stayed with her for 3 years. And it was my space. It was my 50 minutes of pure, non-judgmental space. And sometimes I'll go, I have nothing to say. I'll go and sit there. We'll say, hello, morning. And I'll sit there, and just even that silence. And sometimes things will come up, sometimes they won't. But that was my space, and we shouldn't just we don't realize the impact that can have on our lives. And up till today, this is, I think, 15 years on, and I still, that space has been a rock to me. So this is where we need to start very early on, teaching our children emotional literacy. Yes, children are resilient, children bounce back, but you don't know the impact that it will have on them later on in life, in future relationships, in their work, in how they talk to people, in how they manage their emotions. So let's not take it for granted that you see them laughing, playing, getting on with it, going to school. We really don't. We underestimate the impact unprocessed grief and trauma can have on one's life in the future. I mean that's it really. I'll just say, yeah, it's just about validation, normalization, um, and each child. Yeah, someone said it earlier. Each child is unique. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. So not putting everyone in one box. Um, yeah, I think that's it really.
None, I lost you inside. You said so much,
Yeah.
even more. So recently I was talking to a friend who's also a therapist. I met her at an event, and then she was just telling me about her upcoming masterclass, and she needed us to brainstorm on it. Now, whilst having that conversation, came up that a young girl who lives around the area, right, that she from time to time checks up on, killed herself, committed suicide, right? She went to the house one evening. She said, oh, let me pick her stroke because she doesn't have a number. She didn't have a number. She said, oh, so she goes to the house, the area, check up on her. Apparently, and then she opened up on a few things and she kept assuring her that, look, everything will be okay. Have you in mind. Now, she went to the house. One time she was at home and she was like, oh, let me go and check up on this girl. She went, asked of the girl, and everybody it's a compound house. So everybody was just staring at her, looking at her. And then they said she's dead and this is how she died. Nana, in this boy's case, this guy's case, right? I mean, I'm just thinking, and so that we can find ways to talk to him so he doesn't think silly or do anything silly. Do you think that he can be so devastated, broken, that he might want to take a path like that, commit suicide?
Yeah, it is a huge risk. It's one of the risk factors. I mean, if you look at people who end their life by suicide, um, some of the factors is loss or people who've taken their life before. So this boy has just lost, as I said, major rock, major foundations, and of course, it's normal. He's going to feel like life is not worth living. And someone will say, "Oh, but you got your dad there. You got." It's not about that. He's lost something, and something, a person, his mother and his sister. It is a huge risk factor. So that's why it's important that sometimes, as I said, the importance of a loving family or understanding family, where just keeping an eye, even if it's in the background, but keeping an eye and keeping him active where possible, activities that he can manage to do, or as much as possible, normalize his day and structure his day. And if there's days that he just doesn't want to do nothing, then fine, let him have those days. But you have to keep watchful waiting. And on that note of suicide, I know in Ghana, suicide is still considered as a crime, but one of the things when I do suicide training, I don't use, if anyone wants to take anything from today, I don't use the word commit suicide, because in UK, it's no longer a crime from years ago. And the word commit suicide, that's where sometimes stigma language, um, if one commits suicide, is committing a crime. And to take your life, for me, it just kills me to think that in society it will be seen as a crime when it's as someone who's in so much pain and hurt and anger, and they can see no way out. There's no other option for someone to actually take their life. That if you just imagine they must have gone to a really dark place to actually go ahead and actually do it. And if people are going to be honest to themselves, loads of people have felt times because of maybe grief, because of even broken relationship,
Yeah.
because of loss of a job, that, oh, I can't be here. I don't want to be here. Life is not worth living. I wish I don't wake up tomorrow morning, because of a physical illness, even because of a mental illness. There's loads of people, and if people are really honest with their true selves, there's times where they haven't felt like being here. So if you think someone has actually got to from that point to thinking it to doing it, how can you see it as a crime? It's that person, unfortunately, didn't get the help or the right person at the right time to prevent them from taking that action. So this girl, this poor girl, obviously saw no way out. She actually saw no way out, and ended her life. So she took a permanent decision for a temporary situation that actually, at that point, she just couldn't see the any way out. So she thought the only way out is just to end it. And there's this thing about, oh, people who take their life are selfish. They're at the time when they're thinking about it or planning it, they're not being selfish. I mean, when I assess people, when I was directly in clinic and you're talking to people and you ask them, have you got intent? Have you got a plan? One of the protective factors sometimes is, yeah, it's just that if I kill myself or if I end my life, my brother or my mum, my sister, it can be a friend. I'm just worried about them. And then sometimes it's like, actually, they'll be better off without me because I'm just causing them hurt. So sometimes it's not selfish. Most of the time it's not. So it is suicidal thoughts. It is a key risk factor for anyone experiencing grief, where you start bargaining, okay, you know what, why don't you take me and bring them back? Or, okay, this boy could decide, I want to go and be with my mum. If he believes in there's life after death, he might say, I want to go and be with my mum. Or just the pain could be so unbearable, he can end up doing something that he might not intentionally want to be taking his life, but he might harm. And when we talk about self-harm, people automatically think about cutting or someone actually told me, oh, Africans don't self-harm. I was like, are you kidding me? What about when people are sitting in the bar drinking all day and night? What's that? That's a form of self-harm. You're harming yourself. Um, so there's so many forms that things people do to self-harm, and so it's about keeping his family, and it's not Dylan's job to do that as a young person, to keep watchful waiting or keep eye on him. He's there as a friend. So it's really important that with Dylan, you normalize his feelings, validate his feelings, but he's there to be a friend. If the boy wants to talk, if they want to go for a walk, not, but when I say about normalization of this boy's day and Dylan's day, let them do normal things that they would normally do. Routine is so important. And so even in the prevention of suicidality, it is about keeping the normal routines as well, and keeping those people that are this person's safety net. And yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so you're right to be worried about that.
No, no, in the long run, if this isn't dealt with, everything that you shared with us isn't dealt with the right way, find the right way to deal with this child, and make sure we do it his way, in a way that can support him to feel better from time to time. As they grow, and it could be girls and guys, right? This
Mm.
trauma can affect them, or the outcome can really affect other people around them. They're very good friends, or friends they meet along the line, partners, and I can testify to that. Behavioral routines and all that. What can you share a bit of that insight with us on some of the
So,
outcomes? Yeah.
so as I mentioned earlier, that if um, emotions or grief or
Isn't dealt.
trauma goes unprocessed, and even when you process it, sometimes it does kind of have an impact, and that's where talking is so important. I mean, there are I know they say we shouldn't stereotype, but men don't talk feelings all the time, and we hear lots of women's and partners saying, "Oh, he never talks, he doesn't talk. Oh, or he's always angry." And sometimes, as I said to you, anger is an emotion, and anger is a way of expressing yourself, or um, feelings manifesting itself. So how it can impact on one is it can change someone's way of being or how they present themselves. So if this young boy, like later on, becomes quite distant or quiet or withdrawn, someone might see him, or he might get into a future relate. He's 17, so I'm sure he'll start dating at some point, or he's started already these days, I don't know. But if he's in a relationship later on in life, and you're talking about unprocessed grief and someone's experience of trauma, it can manifest in a way where they can be quite distant, or they, as I mentioned, sometimes addictive behaviors, because that's their coping. They'll develop certain coping.
I mean, behaviors such as, I mean, get into smoking, drinking, you
Yeah,
know,
drinking, all sorts. Some can be really negative, dangerous ones, and sometimes some things can be ones
abuses.
that are not unsafe, but it become excessive. And then also, I was going to say, just in their communication, or they might start distancing themselves from people and be afraid to get into relationships because they don't want to go through that pain and hurt of losing someone. And so you hear many women, and both, it can be women as well, the other way around, where vice versa, where they're actually afraid to get into relationships, or they self-sabotage relationships. As the relationship is getting closer, they'll do something just to
Yeah.
mess up the relationship. And sometimes they're just self-sabotaging their relationships. Um, but it is about talking and not nagging. So as an adult, if you keep nagging someone saying, why don't you just talk? If it's not them, they're not going to just talk. It's about finding ways to get them to open up in their own way. And sometimes you can encourage someone to talk, but the nagging just does not help. They can just shut down. So yeah, it is about encouraging people, especially from now. This is what I meant about emotional literacy. Start training and talking to our young ones, and in cultivating in them the art or the normalization of emotional literacy, talking about feelings. So if in future they're in a relationship or something happens, they know where this is from, and they can actually say, you know what, it's not about you. This is what, when these sort of scenarios happen or these situations happens, it reminds me of. If you don't know where your feelings are from, or you don't have a language to express your feelings, how do you talk about it? So that's why I chose to do child and adolescent mental health, because it's just so important. We actually, from the very beginnings, early stages of people's lives, you're taught emotional literacy and taught to validate your feelings, taught to understand your feelings, because it will help in the long run. Like right now, as an adult, I know when I'm feeling anxious, because I understand as a professional, and before that, that actually this is why I'm feeling like this. If you can't identify that, actually my stomach ache and my hand shaking and my hot flushes, it's not that I'm going through menopause. It's actually because I'm actually anxious and I'm stressed. But I can name that because I am emotionally literate. So it's really important. We teach young people and adolescents emotional literacy, and normalize emotions and get them to talk or express it in their own way. Some people will express it through poetry. And so when parents see young people, oh, every time he's sitting there singing songs or writing songs, that's his way of expressing himself. So if it's through poetry, if it's through art, it can be through different means that they're expressing themselves. But it's about making those connections. Yeah.
Now, my last question, for this morning, I know I got you out of bed. Do you think that victims of such, what's it called, tragedy and others, right, whether men or women, can end up growing up or becoming very detached? As in, a man would say, would not have feelings for a woman, would not care about a woman. Somebody very dear to me is gone and I can't be bothered about anybody else in my life. A woman could also feel the same way. I can't love. They just don't, something precious is gone. Something very important to them is gone. And to them, nothing else matters in that case, because I think we have a lot of issues. And that connects to people being narcissists, and all sorts.
Yeah.
Is there a connection to that?
100%. It goes back to what I said a while ago, that um, yeah, they can just, out of fear of getting to that point where they care about someone so much, so self-sabotage, sabotaging relationships, just neglecting themselves as well, neglecting their feelings. And also times like this, people, as you know, can lose faith. Faith is so important. And if you've got faith as well, and you have a religion and a church group or a faith group that you rely on, and then something like this happen, you think, oh God, why? And actually, is there a God? So they can lose faith. They can lose faith in relationships. They can think, what's the point of getting into a relationship that only something just like this can happen and I'll lose them? So that's what I mean, that sometimes you meet someone, you might click in the first instance and think we've got something going here, and then all of a sudden the person goes cold on you. It might not be about you. You don't know what it is. I'm not saying people can do that normally, but it can have an impact on someone's life in terms of how it manifests through their relationships, in their friendship groups as well. So sometimes they can end up isolating and not wanting to be around people.
Yeah. And Nana, I can't wait for your book. I think it's about time you
Books.
release the books. Yeah, the popular book, Nana Yepacho. It's about time.
My husband always says, you got all these books here. Do you even read them?
Nana, I can understand him. But it's about time, Nana. If you have time, it'd be nice to put some of your amazing experiences and your knowledge down for other generations, us and other generations, to really tap into. It's very important. Nana, you need to do it. It's important. I know a lot of people find it difficult, but I think a day, even if you write 2 lines, you better do, baby.
Books. It'll be a bigger compliment. I have dyslexia, and I always say, yeah, I struggle with writing. For me, I have to write a lot in my job, do lots of reports. But what will take you half an hour to type down, it will take me 2 hours. So yeah. I'll see about it.
It's still gonna happen. I mean, you're still gonna write it down. That's it. You can take you. I mean, it's life. It takes some people a day. It takes others, but I mean, it's irrelevant.
Okay, you've set me a challenge.
Yes. Nana, very much this morning. I really appreciate this time with you and everybody online. And we're going to post this after. We'll share it on my page after. And we're creating a YouTube channel so we can post all the videos. And we look forward to contacting you, getting you back to discuss more, Nana. And if there is a vlog that you have, I mean, a page, I'm thinking this is a time that you can really put one or things from time to time, Nana. Everybody can go there and grasp it, you know, as time every weekly or something. That would be nice. Thank you, Nana. Thank you.
All right then. Thank you.
Thank you. God
Bye.
bless you. All right, guys. That was Nana, a specialist with who works with children. You heard more of what she said, and I think that this is an amazing moment for all of us to know what to do in time of tragedies. I mean, whether us, we experience it, or for our loved ones or strangers, people that we know around, our neighbors will know what to do and how to deal with it. So yes, it's 7:37. Have a good day. Stay positive. Don't forget to say a prayer from time to time. If you're anxious, if you're stressed, if you're going through something, listen, guys, Nanaya said something and I noted it down. So let's be very careful that we don't make permanent decisions, right, for temporary situations. Let's make sure we do not make permanent decisions for temporary situations. Okay, guys, it's important. Immediately happens, everything turns, I mean, upside down, looks chaos. But it's important that you see it as a temporary situation, and it will pass too. Okay? Have a good morning. Have a good day. Stay blessed.